Hello, 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 and welcome. How are you all? Who do we have in the chat? Happy Wednesday, first of all. Happy Wednesday. In the chat, we have Mel to the B. Mel says, Happy Wednesday, DD, Divas, and Gentlemen. I love the gentlemen. We have Reset with Anissa. How are you? Anissa, how are you? How are you? We have Lakeisha. Hi, Diva. I was going to say happy. Hi, Diva, Mel, Anissa, and Wednesday, everyone. Love that. Delilah, hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. Simply Taisha says, Happy Wednesday, Dee Dee and Divalicious fam. We have Linda's Journey. How are you? She says, Hi, Dee Dee and family. That rhymes too. Dee Dee and family. Cookie with the dimples. How are you? She says, Hello, everyone. I hope it's been a great Wednesday for you all. I love that Wednesday. And I talked about that on my community post today, I think. Taisha says, I'll be listening in. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone is doing well. All right. Thank you, Z. How are you, Z? How are you? Who else do we have in the chat? I want to make sure I say hello to everyone. Marjorie, how are you? How are you? Jen to the app. Hey, Jen, how are you? We have RN. She says, hi from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Love that. And anybody else? We have CDXX. Welcome. He says, hey, everyone, I am new here. Losing it, Grace. Or, yeah, I did say it right this time. Losing it, Grace. Good for me, Dee Dee. Yes, yes, yes. She says, hey, Dee Dee and Divas and Divos. Guess what I brought today? You brought some money bags with you? Well, you're going to need them for our stock talk today at the end of this live. Bellflower says, Happy Wednesday, Dee Dee and everyone. Very good. Marjorie, how are you? Wait a minute. Hold up. Hey, Margie, how are you? We got Seabreeze in the house. Hey, Seabreeze. She says, glad to be here. She's in Virginia. I love that cute pic you got up there. Jasmine Moore. She says, I had a really great day. Compliments and conversation from all walks of life today. Very good. So you got some compliments and conversation. I love that. Somebody else told me on the community post that they were recognized by a subscriber out and about on YouTube and they got a compliment. So how about that? So if you guys haven't checked out that community post I put up, go and check in. Let me know what your non-skill victory is. Journey, hey, Journey of Life. She says, hey, everyone. I picture you saying, hey, like that. Who else do we have in here? Anybody? I don't want to miss anybody. If I miss somebody, charge it to my head and not my heart. Okay. All right. Very good. Bellflower. How did I miss her? Yes, in that purple. Happy Wednesday, Dee Dee and everyone. Very good. Okay. So you have to tell us, Losing It Grace, what did you bring today? What did you bring today? Here's my girl, Jamie. How are you? How are you? Yes, yes, yes. Good evening. Glad I was able to make it from Oregon. All right. I love that. I love that. Hi, Seabreeze. You're in Virginia too. Two Virginia ladies. How about that? How is that? That's so cool. I love it when somebody's from the same parts of the state or town. That is so super cool. I love that. All right. So Journey says you're in the car wash. At the car wash. My daughter used to request me to play that song every time we went to the car wash. And she grew out of it, thank goodness. But I do. I love that car wash song. Okay. So tonight we are talking about we kind of got a lot to talk about. Wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute, M to the V to the P. How are you? Hey, MVP. I love that name. Love that name. Very fitting for you. Okay, so we are talking about tonight doing a reset. How about that? We got that GLP-1 reset, how to get back on track after a setback. And if you guys have been following me, I gained how much did I gain? I gained 2 pounds last week. Was it 2? Or was it close? I can't remember if it was 2, close to 2, but whatever it was, I went up. And so, and that's not really why I said I need a reset. I just need a reset from my birthday and all the eating out I was doing, all the dinners. I really haven't really been on track. I haven't been cooking as much, because when you eat out, which is a good thing, I've been having leftovers. Probably should have left some stuff at the restaurant. But when you have such, you pay for that food and then you have leftovers, you think, oh, I could eat half of it tomorrow. So I've just been keeping a lot of that stuff going. So I thought I'm going to start all over, start from scratch. I went to the grocery store the other day. I started this new tracking app. I posted it on my community tab. I had this company reach out to me from PEP. And and it was like a long time ago. And they were saying, we want you to work with us and, help us promote this app. And I couldn't honestly do it because I didn't use it, right? You guys know I have been using another app. So I said, I'm not even going to try to get involved in this with this app. And so I thought the lady was going to be like, oh, no, man, we don't need to work with you now. We don't want to work with you. I noticed some other content creators she's working with. And she's like, no, we're excited to have you. Whenever you're ready, let us know. And by being ready, I just need to use it, right? I don't really feel comfortable talking about something that I don't actually use myself. And, I am a tracker. I got my tracking down in another app, and I tried this out. And the reason why I like it is because it's related to the GLP-1. You track I'm tracking my shot. I'm tracking my, it tells you like the life, how long the shot is lasting in your body. It's an estimate, it's not a doctor in there telling you, but I love that because I feel like it's kind of accurate, considering based on when I'm ready to eat or not. So that's good, but it's tracking the shot, it tracks your steps, it tracks your macros, it tracks your calories, it tracks your side effects, it tracks everything under the sun. Yeah, what else does it track? Oh, and it connects to your Apple Watch. You guys know I don't want an Apple Watch. I don't have an Apple Watch. I might get an Apple Watch though. I don't know. Maybe I'll get an Apple Watch. I was thinking about getting an Apple Watch. So yeah, but it tracks that, and maybe I eventually will get that Apple Watch to go along with it. So I'm tracking. That's a way I'm resetting. I said all that to say I am tracking. Hold up. Wait a minute. What do we have here? We have a super chat. Let's see. Simply Taisha. She says, I love your energy. I'm ready for Mel's new name. Okay, you did not forget. Okay, you know what? My daughter, I thought she was going to spill the beans today when I was talking to Mel. And she's like, I know what her name is. And I didn't even say it to her. I don't think I said it out loud. So I'm thinking, can she read my mind? I couldn't take a chance on it, but she didn't know it because I was like, have never even said this name out loud. So anyway, I think that is so cool. All right, so Mel, are you ready for your name? Are you ready for it? Well, this is just what I'm gonna call her. I just love this. I saw people had said, first of all, let me give a thank you to Taisha. Since Taisha blessed me with that super chat, I must say I have to go on and tell the name. All right, let's see. Did anybody else come in here? I see we saw MVP. We saw Shay, my name twin. How are you? How are you? I love that. If we spell our names different, but Shay is a Shay. I'll take it. I love it. So we got Shay in here. We got Felicity Sea Monster. How are you, Felicity? That name reminds me of the lady from Desperate Housewives. Felicity. I love that. She's a good actress too. We have Empowered Wellness by Teddy. He says, good evening, beautiful, blessed people. All right. So, she says, get an Oura ring instead, Shay. Wait, an Oura ring instead of doing the tracking? Are you saying that? An Oura ring is not going to tell me the calories and all that, though, is it? Oh, geez, Louise, Mel. I'm good. It's good to see you. Good to see you, too. Good to see you, too. All right, so this is the little agenda for today. I like to be organized, if you can't tell. So we're going to have a little reset discussion. I want to know from you guys, have you ever reset on, I'm sure we've reset on previous weight loss journeys, but have you had to reset on the GLP-1? And then we're going to play a little game because I like to, be a little interactive here and keep things moving. And then we're going to talk stocks. And I'm going to tell you, if you want to be involved with stocks with Shay, I think Felicia Marie B came up with that name. I think that's so cute. But if you want to do something with stocks, if you want to learn about it, maybe you don't want to do it with me, but you just want to learn something. I'm going to show you today, how I'm going to roll that out. And if you want to be more involved, how you can become more involved. So I'm going to save that to the end because most people that are on here probably aren't on here maybe for that, but you need to be. So when I'm talking about stocks, though, I'm talking about stocks, like not if you have a 401k, like that's not that. This is an investment portfolio that you're doing in addition to a 401k. So if you have a 401k and you're with your company, you're probably not saying what stocks you're going to put in it and add to it. If you are, great. A lot of them don't work like that. You have somebody who's managing that for you. So this one, you're managing it. You're in control of it. We're going to talk about that. So before we do that, since I got that super chat, I got to go with what my girl Taisha said. So I know some people were saying Meticulous Mel was a name. People were trying to give her Marvelous Mel. I thought that was a good one too. And so I said I wanted to call her Eminem. So of course, the name is going to come with 2 M's. So my name for Mel is going to be Mighty Mel. I love Eminem. I might call her Eminem for short. My daughter has a nickname for her, and she calls her Mimi, Miss Mimi. And so I said that goes along with my daughter's name too. That's why I wanted to stick with the Eminem. So I'm going to call her Mighty Mel because Mel is so knowledgeable. Here recently we've been talking stocks, and I've gotten her excited. I think about this stock game, and she's doing her research. She's looking stuff up, and if you know how to get me excited to talk about a nice looking dude or a stock. It used to be food, but that's not sparking my interest as much anymore. So that is so funny. So we're going to be talking about that. So stick around to the end if you are interested, or either you got to leave, come back and watch the replay. And then I'm going to follow up with something on my little community post after today. So I'm going with Mighty Mel, Marvelous Mel. I like that too, but I just think Mighty just says how strong she is, right? How strong, how, she's just like that advocate, right? So I like the strength that name Mighty gives her. So Mighty Mel, I'm going to call her Eminem for short. And then also my daughter could call her that because it's Mimi too. So Mel is just so funny. But Mel, we actually love you. And I love how Mayor Mindy, when Mayor Mindy comes in the chat, because they're talking about who's the the content supporters, and early on, Mel, I don't know if they named her the CEO and Darium the CEOO or the COE or whatever it was called. And then Mia, I'm not good with acronyms. And then Mia was also up in there some kind of way back in the day. So I don't know what has happened, but we do know that Mel B is our resident. I told her she's my resident menopause expert / DEXA scan. So Mel, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you. And Taisha, thank you for getting me out of that. Get me to get that name out early because I was going to save it. So Eminem, it's Eminem. What do you think about that name? Mighty Mel. Eminem. Are you okay with that, Mel? I don't know. Meticulous Mel sounds like I don't like that. I think that sounds like you're too picky or something. Do you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to go with something that meant strong and smart. Like I think Mighty is just like, geez Louise, somebody call me Mighty Shay. I'd take it in a heartbeat. But whatever you want to call her, as long as it's a great name, we love that. All hail to the mighty Mel. All hail to the mighty Mel. All hail to the mighty Mel. I can make up a rhyme about everything. I love that. MVP. That's why you got that name, MVP. Love it. Okay, so did I see my girl Kelly up in here? Kelly, how are you? Look at Kelly. Well, let's give her thank you, Kelly. All right, Mel to the B. Oh, Mel, you're so sweet. Okay, let me find where did Mel go? Mel with the name. I would not tell her that name. Oh, I love you back. You all are so sweet. Cha-ching. The stock trading. I am picky. I love it. Yes, yes, yes. We love it. We love it. Thank you, Mel. Let's give her a thank you. And then let's get started. Let's roll on. All right. So All right, so if anybody's catching that replay, we need to tell them to start at we need to tell them to start. How many minutes have we been on here? I can't even keep track of the minute. Where does the minutes at? Does it telling me? Oh, okay. 16 minutes in. Okay, so this is a question for the chat. Have you guys ever had or felt like you needed to have a reset? Yes. Anybody felt like that you had to have some sort of reset with your I'm going to come back to your comment, Margie. I wonder if I can star it so that I won't forget it, because I want to talk about that when we talk about that at the end. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay, all right, thank you. All right, so have you guys ever had to do a reset? What, and if so, what has it been? What was your reset? And you know, for me, my reset was just like going all out, celebrate my birthday, eating out a lot. You know, I made some good choices, but it's just hard when you're eating out, you know, to be consistent. Now having that cake, you guys saw that great cake I had. Anything else? I'm trying to think. You know, sometimes I chose fried things when I probably should have chose baked. Yeah, I just was doing it up, doing the most. Not doing the most because I could have done more. But yeah, I just was need a reset. So what made you, and then I've had a lot of emotional things going on too. I've had a lot of emotional things going on and with family stuff. And I really haven't talked a lot about it because like I say, it's not my business to talk about it on here, but how it affects me, I can certainly feel comfortable talking about that. So it has been, you know, stressful, you know, with something I have going on with the family. So it's just, you know, it's like, what are you going to do? So I noticed that emotional eating coming along when I was, you know, feeling the family thing, feeling the stress from that. And one of the things I will say is, you know, I am definitely learning to put myself first because even though it stressed me out, I could have taken on the problem and I did not do that. I really did not do that. And so I give myself a lot of credit that I didn't take on the problem like I normally would have. I for sure put myself first. And, you know, I started thinking about that. I got to think too with my daughter. I got to be more careful about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And, you know, letting that energy in, that's not the best energy. You know, I have to learn how to let that go. So yes, yes, yes. Okay, so what are you guys saying? So Losing It Gray said, my reset so far has been related to titration. I always feel a reset coming when I'm going up. Yes, you know what? That's a great point. That's a great time to actually, I think, reset is when you are titrating up and going up a dose. And how do you guys decide when you're how you're going to titrate up or if you're going to titrate up? How do you decide that? And I will tell you, you know, being somebody who's a type 2, I don't just decide, my doctor also decides, you know. I think, you know, the weight loss is kind of secondary. I think I was telling somebody the other day, you know, she's looking at the trend and how my weight is going down, 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 as opposed to, and like some of the non-scale victories I share with her, the ones she see with the blood work, with the blood pressure, when she's taking my blood pressure and all of that. But she really focuses in on that A1C. You know, I guess if I was on, and it's rightly so, I guess if I was on Zepbound for the weight loss, yeah, most of our conversation should be about the weight loss. But because I'm on the Mounjaro, a lot of it focuses around my A1C. Although she doesn't really ask me a whole lot about what I'm eating and how I'm eating it. So I am looking forward to going to my gynecologist next month because I'm going to be having a hormone panel done. I want to know where my hormones stand, and I want to know, you know, just what I could do to kind of like maximize, you know, my 12.5 dose and everything I have going on. I feel like I need a reset with not just a diet, like yeah, what I'm eating, an eating plan, or what I'm drinking. I feel like I need just like a total reset with what I got going on. So we will see. We will see. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely had a reset in late April. I had to overhaul my nutrition with my 14.1 A1C. Wow. So I don't think you've gotten another blood panel yet. Have you, since you've gotten that 14.1, or have you, Anissa? I don't think you have, but I could be wrong. So I think that that's so cool that you are on top of that. You overhauled. So what did you do specifically to overhaul? Good for you, taking care of you. Yes, isn't that so hard for us to do, especially if you're a mom? I wouldn't say a reset. I would say evolution, says Bellflower, within the journey, just building onto new habits or routines and adding in new habits or routines along the way as I continue to grow. Okay, very good. So adding on those new things is helpful. It really is. So can you share like maybe one thing that you changed up? Mel to the beat. Mighty Mel. Eminem says, my reset has been about a big old self hug and some downtime. Going to the beach to watch the ocean and people watch. Okay. Yeah. And you were doing that the other day. I think that's so cool. That's a great way to reset and just kind of like cut the noise out, right? Because, when you say that, even if you live alone, the TV's on, there could be other things in your house on that can and easily distracting you, right? The TV, the phone, chores you got to do around the house. So I love how you went to the beach to do that reset and to kind of I felt like you wanted some calmness in your situation. So I love that. She says you give a self hug. Very good. I literally just took my 19th shot, 11th of 7.5. Wow, very good. So you've been on 7.5 for a while. I feel like 7.5 is not my shot, but not sure if I should go up. Just send a note to my doctor to get her thoughts. Okay, all right, very good. So when you say 7.5 is not your shot, what makes you think that? Like, what is it about that injection? And 7.5 was not mine either. I felt like, I didn't feel like it was doing a whole lot. I didn't feel a difference, really, a big jump from 5. I thought I would. I don't remember feeling like a big jump from the 5, but I remember thinking something spectacular was going to happen. And I could tell the dose kicked up a little bit, but it just wasn't. It lost its lackluster like early on. Yeah, 7.5. I had big. I think my expectations were super big. I don't know. Yes, we do have this. Thank you, Journey. A1C yesterday, 6.7 now. Yes, yes, yes. Woo! That's a big jump. That's almost 8 points down, percentage points, or however they call it, whatever they refer to it as. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So you know what? Let me give you guys some confetti that went so far. So we got this confetti. We got to give it to Mel, to the B, Margie. And now Anissa, I love that. I love that. I love that. Your A1C is down. That is so cool. All right, very good. All right, so yeah, keep going. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Yes, I started Ozempic, says Felicity, in February of 2022 and lost 50 pounds that year. I gained 15 back in 2023 and 5 more in the first 6 months of 2024. I was eating my emotions and had to reset. So are you still on Ozempic, Felicity? Are you still on it? And did you ever go off of it? And then or you did all that gaining back while you were actually on the GLP-1? Oh, that's interesting to know. Thank you for sharing that. Increasing the exercise and beginning to track. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. Okay, so you increase the exercise, which is a great thing to do. That's another thing, Bellflower, that I haven't been able to get to that yoga because my daughter has not been at camp. She's been home this week, and I thought camp was starting this week, her gymnastics camp, but it's actually next week. So this week she's been home, and although I've been moving and trying to do things, I miss that yoga, and I'm sure my thighs and everything else misses it too, my abs, because you do a lot of ab stuff there too. So it'll be interesting when I get back into it, which probably won't be until Monday, and then school's going to start, so I'm going to have to do something because I need to cancel that tomorrow too. Let me because remember, it was a 3-month commitment, and my 3rd month I think is going into September, but I got to cancel now before that next billing cycle kicks in. So geez Louise, I got to remember to do that. And I was going to do it if I was there, but I have not been there, so I had to let me make myself a note right now so I could call. Too bad they don't have sitting babysitting services, but I do like because it's calm and peaceful. I guess they were like, we don't need these kids up in here. So I'm going to write in big letters, cancel Pilates. So, my classes will go until September, but that's okay. Okay. Thank you for that, because that reminded me, that kicked in a reminder. Let's see. Okay, so thanks for sharing that, Bellflower. So Anissa says she's tracking her carbs, protein, steps, and sleep. I love how you put the sleep in there. So Anissa, are you getting your 7 to 8 hours of sleep? Are you doing that? Journey of Life says, I'm still hanging on to 2.5 week 15, but my food noise, but your food is still suppressed. Okay. Well, hang in there as long as it's working and everything's going well. I think you should hang in there. Your food noise. Yeah, I figured that's what you were saying. Dee Dee, can I give you a quick, could you give a quick recap of, you know what? You've been asking me that. You know what? I have it written down. I can't really remember how for so long. So at the next Sunday, or I talk about my weight, Grace, I'll let you know that. And you might see something before that too. But yeah, because I can't remember. I don't want to get it wrong and that not be accurate. But yeah, I remember you asking me that, and I did say it in a video, but I don't know which one to go to tell you to look at that. So maybe on Sunday, and if you're not there, you're usually there, but if you're not there on Sunday, I'll send you the video with the timestamp, and I'm going to talk about it. Okay, thank you for that question, though. Let's see who else is in the chat up here. I went way back up, way too far. I'm going in the wrong direction. Let's see. Okay, here I am. You said, yes, you want to know too. Delilah saying, that's awesome, Anissa. It is. Same, Dee Dee. I don't feel any difference from 5 milligrams. Okay, so you don't feel any difference? Okay, yeah. See, and if you don't feel any difference, I think you should just go up. Go on up. All right, very good. The emotional eating. Yes, yes, yes. That's the thing. Any tips on getting through side effects on Ozempic? Okay, so I took Rybelsus. That's the pill form of Ozempic, and I would just say you got to look at what you're eating beforehand, because if you're having symptoms of being nauseous, that's one of the most reported one on Ozempic, even over constipation, I believe. People are getting nauseated, and that's what I felt bloated when I would eat. What triggered me on that Ozempic was eating anything that was greasy, fried. Because at first, when I was first doing it, I didn't change a whole lot. I just was eating a lot less because I really couldn't eat. It made me feel bloated and kind of uncomfortable. But to minimize those symptoms, you got to really stay hydrated and lead with that protein, lead with those clean foods, fruits, veggies, and I would even say maybe not fruits as much as the veggies, because all that stuff, and also when you're taking your injection, are you eating on an empty stomach? How much are you eating? So I would look at all of that first. I know people talk about that Zofran. It's a prescription you can get for being nauseous. I've also heard of ginger chews. People have those ginger chews from Amazon. I know people order them from there. I actually had some in my cart and never purchased them yet. But the ginger chews, they say help settle your stomach. It's like a like a candy. So those kinds of things to settle your stomach. But I would just make sure, before and after your injection, that you are staying hydrated. Get some of those electrolytes. They also help if you're not, help me. Now they might not help you, but these are things that help me. And then if you're already doing those things, I would talk to your doctor and ask your doctor, because like I say, they do have prescriptions. You might have a tummy that just can't handle the dose you're on. Maybe it's the dose. Maybe that needs to be tweaked, and that would all have to be done with your doctor. But I found for me, it was things I was doing before my injection and after. Now, what really got me, because when I was taking Rybelsus, the pill form of Ozempic, we know, like the studies show, and it's research out there that says, like, that semaglutide or semaglutide, however you pronounce it, that it is rough on your stomach. And so that's why you hear a lot of people saying the way you digest it, it just interacts with your stomach a little differently than a Mounjaro or a Zepbound would. And I think because we know that, you got to really be conscious about what you're eating and how you're eating before that injection and after that injection. So I know a lot of people in the GLP-1 community say they fast, like they do some intermittent fasting, and not necessarily because they want to. They didn't start out to do that, but they're just not hungry. I think if you're taking Rybelsus or Ozempic, this is just my opinion, not a doctor, But I do think that you have to have something on your stomach. I think to take that injection on an empty stomach is just not good. I think you have to have something that's going to help that digestion, kick in and keep going. And not just a protein shake. I would eat something like protein based to help with that. And so, yeah, that's what I would do before. And I would also make sure I'm eating after. Make sure that, I guess, a couple days, like the day of your injection and before your injection, I would really load up on that protein if you're having issues with your stomach. But again, like I said, I would just talk to your doctor. Your doctor's going to be able to, help you out. If you have insurance, see if they have a dietitian that could really help you pinpoint a menu that's going to work for you and what you're trying to do. So I just think that's great. I think that's great that you're here asking for support. So we appreciate that. And I hope that was helpful. Anybody else has tips for CDXX? Anybody else have some tips or things that you could do? Whenever, and I'm just going to say this for me, whenever I have a like a queasy stomach, the good old Pepto-Bismol works for me. I don't know. And I've had to take it, once or twice when I was feeling a little, queasy, my belly. I've taken it and then right away, or felt funny. And it was linked to something I was eating. But that, that Pepto-Bismol works for me. I've never heard anybody talk about that. Everybody has all these fancy things, but I say go with what works. Go with what works and what's in your budget too that you can afford. But that doctor's going to be able to help you with that for sure. We have a new member, Margie. How are you? Thank you. Yes. Wait. Yay. Thank you for joining. Okay, so let's give her some confetti. Yay, Margie. Thank you for the support. I appreciate that. All right, so let's see. Who else do we have up here in this chat? Let me see. Okay. So she says, oh, Mel, so mighty Mel, Eminem says, thank you. Welcome to the club, she says. Journey, in my experience, the higher dose really didn't suppress my hunger as much as it helped with the head hunger. I would agree with that too. Going up in a higher dose. And, a lot of times people say they just think it's going to equal more weight loss. And sometimes it doesn't, but it does help with like appetite suppression. I would agree with that, Delilah. And the food noise, if you have that food noise, that food chatter, whatever you have going on, I think it does help with that. Maybe not, you don't always see, but it's also helping, with that inflammation that we might not be able to see, but it's there, and so it's controlling that too. So I think we got to keep that in mind. Let's see. Journey, you may need to set an alarm to eat and eat smaller, simple meals. That's a good idea. Did I miss Journey? I must have missed that comment. Okay, yes, I missed Cass. Hi, Cass, how are you? Cass says, I have been on Ozempic for several months with no results or feeling changes. Just moved up to 2 in my dosage, and now I think I feel a difference. Okay, now it's 2. Doesn't it go up to 2.4? Is that what is the highest one? So you're not at the highest one, are you? So yeah, so good for you. I think that's great that you moved up. People are so afraid to move up because you think, gosh, and I've been there, done that. When you get close to the top, you think like, I have nowhere else to go. But I think go up until it's doing something in your favor. Do you know what I'm saying? So good. You have to let us know. Thank you for sharing that. You got to let us know how that works out. And I'm glad you're feeling a difference. But so, and is that the higher dose? Because you said 2. I thought it was like a 2.4. Okay, so I didn't skip way down. Okay, I'm going back up in the chat. Sorry. See how it does? It skips you down. Davina, how are you? She says, to suppress food noise without increasing your dose, I suggest real food protein and an ungodly amount of water. Yes. Protein, like Marsha. So yeah, get that protein in, and of course, drinking that water. Low carb queen in the house. She says, hey, Downsizing Diva, and everyone in the chat. Blessings to you. Thank you for that. I need all the blessings out there I could get. I appreciate that, low carb queen. All right, trying to get 7 hours. Okay, I think that's a great target, great start, but ultimately we want to get that 8, but I'm not even sometimes getting 7. So I'm working on that too. And this, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, you totally should be. I agree. Thank you, Simply Taisha. Thank you. Dee Dee, write it down. You're going to forget. Love you. Thank you, Grace. Yes, yes, yes. You know, it's so funny. Today, this is such a true story. I mean, today, you know, the school I used to work at, closed down, and we all transferred to a bigger school, right? It reminds me of those big churches, you know, you got a little church and then it grows into this bigger church, or the church and people come together. And so it was a small school. So we are all still really close. And a lot of my teacher friends are retired. And so they had a meetup today. And you actually forgot it was today. I have a calendar and I stopped writing on my calendar. I wrote down my school stuff coming up, but I didn't write like my social stuff. So do you know, I totally missed that. So what my teacher friend that I used to teach with, she said, Shay, where were you? Everybody was asking about you. Everybody missed you. We were all wondering where you were. You know, they thought my daughter was coming. You know, here I am. I'm running errands and doing everything else. So I told her, I said, I haven't been writing things down. I said, that's it. You should have reminded me. And I think they put something out on Facebook, but I'm really not on Facebook, so I don't see it. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to remind you. Now, the good thing is she's one of the people that I went out with did a birthday dinner. So I saw her, but my daughter wasn't there. So they were disappointed that they didn't get to see my daughter too. So anyway, Grace, yes, I said all that to say you are so right. If I don't write it down, geez Louise, it may not happen. All right, so that's on my list. Geez Louise, thank you for reminding me. I need help with sleep too. I don't sleep more than 5 or 6 nights. So can you go to sleep though? So I could go to sleep, but it's just staying asleep. Now the other night I went to sleep, and last night too, I stayed asleep until like 5 or 6 hours. But normally I'm getting up. That's because I didn't go to bed till like 2 a.m. But I was able to sleep in till 10. So I still got close to the 8 hours. I will say that. But so that sleep in me is a thing. So that's one of the things I want to talk to my gynecologist about is helping with that sleep, because I really think it's also perimenopause related. And I don't want to get Mighty Male on a tangent, but yeah, we know what it is. So Felicity said, before I go to your comment, I just want to also say, it's some things you can do that might help with, like melatonin, or they have that sleepy tea. I heard about that. They have some natural things you could do. I take that magnesium glycinate at night, glycinate or glycinate. I take that at night because that's supposed to help with sleep. I do take Mago 7, but that's for more like the whole constipation of it all. And I don't need to take that every day. So I haven't been taking that, but, only here and there, sporadically when I need it. So I would do some of those things, keep your room cool. I think a lot of times people don't realize, because we don't want to be cold at night, but really the temperature in your room should be sleep comfortable, which is like they say 68 degrees is a great temperature for your house to be at. So I don't know if you could do that, keeping the lights down, getting one of those Diva eye those things. Now, me personally, I don't want an eye mask over my eye. My daughter uses that. I don't really like that. Like, I feel like I want to know, if I open my eyes, I want to be able to see right out of it. I don't want to have to open my eyes and lift up my So that's why I don't use that whole thing. But you can, if that doesn't bother you. Maybe you're already using it. But I would just tweak some things and then maybe talk to your doctor about it, because we got to get some sleep. Remember that famous entertainer that just finished the trial of the decade? He used to say, won't stop, can't stop. Well, we know we should stop. That's not cool to say anymore. Won't stop, can't stop, won't stop. I gained while Felicity says I gained while I was taking Ozempic, and I am on 1 milligrams. My doctor recommended a book called what is that? Dialectic Behavior Therapy. Dialectic Behavior Therapy for Emotional Eating and Resetting Your Mind. Okay, very good. Like, I'm gonna write that down. I love a good book. Let's see. DBT. DIALECIT. Okay, behavior therapy. Okay. All right, very good. All right, thank you for the book recommendation. All right, Davina says sleep is a big thing. I've been having trouble sleeping. I know it's because I'm not as active. 1 to 2 hours of cardio or lifting knocks me out at night. Otherwise, I'm up to 12 or 1. Yes, and that exercise does tire you out. That's probably why I was up till 2 o'clock. I was up to 2 o'clock last night trying to get this stock stuff rolled out. But yeah, before that, I don't know why I was, I think, I sleep better. I don't know why some nights, it's when I can go to sleep fast. It's just when I get up to go to that restroom in the morning, I am not going right back to sleep. And I really want to get that under control because school's going to be starting back next week, into the end of next week. And then next week, that last 2 weeks in March and August, I'm saying March, August, I'm all the way back. So I need to get on a schedule. And I mean, I need to be on an ASAP. Okay, so yes, I saw that. Remember, I skipped down for some reason. I don't know. Let's see, where am I at? Jen says, Journey, there's no crown to stay on the lowest dust. But yeah, so people have said that take some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and smell it. Has anybody tried that? Because somebody else mentioned that. Thanks for that, Cass. Somebody else mentioned that. And I don't know. Wow, Davinia, that's a lot. Is it zone 2 cardio? Okay, all right. Delilah saying, Jen, real talk. Is there a difference between the injection version versus the pill? Well, my doctor said no. Obviously, the injection is going to get in your system faster and kick in faster. But really, there's not. The differences are, though, the dosages, right? Because on the Ribelsis pill, it was like 3. I want to say it was 3, 7, and then a 14. So it went from 7 to 14. It doubled. I could double check that, but I want to say it was 3, 7, and 14. And when I first started, she told me to cut the pill in half just to see how my body would react to it. And of course, on that small of a dosage, it was fine. So that's really the big difference is how fast it gets in your system, and then the different dosage levels that it is. So that's a great question. So if you're not handling the injection so well, maybe the pill may be different. The Ribelsis, I'm not sure. You said I just learned a new treat with cucumbers. You just learned a new treat with cucumbers. Cucumbers with what else on it? Jen, I realize that, but I'm scared to go up. You are scared to go up and really not, you haven't been eating. I'm barely making 1,200 calories. Yeah, you gotta eat. You got to eat. So if you're that suppressed on 2.5, I can't even imagine what 5 is going to do, because I think 5 is one of those powerhouse doses. I've heard a lot of people say that. A lot of people say they lost a lot of their weight or most of their weight on that 5. And when you think about it, you're like, why did I ever move up? So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I think you should stay where you're at, though. If you're not eating, your appetite is suppressed, and you don't have that food noise. Now, if any of that changes, you might want to have a conversation with your doctor about going up. But yeah, I make that decision with the doctor. All right, I think I read that before, Delilah. That's one of the things I kind of slipped down. Okay, sorry. And then when I get another comment, it pops back up. Let's see. Journey, I saw that she said she might need to set an alarm to eat. Yes, I love that. I like using essential oils for nausea. Spearmint works great. Okay, very good. Thank you for that tip, spearmint. Okay, so we went from alcohol, which is like to spearmint, which I wouldn't mind that smell. Mel, I'll do an hour on the Stairmaster. Mighty Mel, I'll do an hour on the Stairmaster and then an hour on the treadmill, walking on an incline. I have the energy. I'll live for an hour and then I'll walk for 4 to 6 miles afterwards. Geez, Louise. Oh my goodness, you are doing all of that. Oh my goodness. I need a lot of activity because my baseline is high and my body is accustomed to it. It must be. I was going to say it really must be. That's a good idea, but it's not wanting it when it's in front of me. I like I'll be eating half of whatever is on your plate. Okay. All right. Well, I also think, I know we talk about intermittent fasting and all that, but I think eating frequently, if you could do that, little small meals is great because I think that helps your metabolism. It kind of reminds me of like a fire that's burning and you're adding the wood to the fire. The more you add to the fire, it's going to burn, burn, burn. And so I know, I feel like there's a thing for people to say, like, I don't want to eat, I'm not eating, but, that's one thing we know, we got to eat on these meds. So, yeah, I think trying that out would be great. If you're not hungry, like Jen said, just eat like a little bit at a time until you can, gradually work your way up. Davinia, the Mighty Male says, do you think you need some more recovery time? I was doing the most and my sleep became off. My sleep hygiene is back on track after incorporating some more recovery. So she kind of took things down a notch, right, Mel? I think that was what you did. Thank you. Low carb has great tips, everyone. Davinia, I see that makes sense. My pen says 2 milligrams. Okay. All right. All right. Very good. And that's the Ozempic. I'm over here side eye and everything. LOL. Jennifer, how are you? She says, hello, Dee Dee and everyone. Always learn something new from the chat. Yes, yes, yes. Here is the new snack. You dip your cucumber in a sweetener. It tastes like watermelon. I peel the skin off also. In a sweetener. What sweetener is that? What sweetener are you putting it in? Yes, I'm on 68 or 69 every night. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. All right. I love that. But 1 milligram is low. Okay. 1 milligram is low. Brenda, welcome to the chat. She says, just got out of work. So glad to be here. Hello, everyone. Hello, Brenda. I see my doctor, Margie says, in person in September. I think the sleep problem may be hormonal. Me too. That's why I said when I go to my gyno, I'm going to talk to them about the sleep because I think it's kind of related to that. Yes, school is back in session. Oh my gosh. So some people have started back already, Low Queen. I haven't started yet. Alcohol works for me. I took too much once and that saved me. So the alcohol, you're talking about the smelling it for the nausea. I think that's what you're talking about. I lost 20 pounds in 6 weeks on 5 milligrams. Wow, that is awesome. And you probably because you're working it out. 10 milligrams, Davina says, was beast mode. That's what made me extra sexy. I love that. Plus, look at all that working out you are doing. And I'm going to let just Grace have this one. Davina, Diane. I'm too sexy for my hat, too sexy for my hat, so sexy it works. Davina says, I'm too sexy for myself, too sexy for myself. I love it. Didn't somebody else have a song about sexy Justin Timberlake? I'm kind of afraid of the excess skin, but I'm just tired of being overweight. Okay, so you got to weigh it out. So you either want to be smaller and a shot caller, or you want to have stay overweight and be an overweight shot caller. Either way, you could be a shot caller. You just got to decide which one is it. Which one? And that is hard. I've seen some people to be more serious about this. So I've seen some people. Have you seen those people online? And it could be any of us, in this chat or out that are watching. By the way, we have 54 people watching. Subscribe and actually give us a hit with that like button. We appreciate that. So as I said that, some people logged off. I think that's hilarious. Okay, so it's like they think I'm watching them or something, right? But I really think I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? There we go with the perimenopause kicking in. The excess skin and all that. Have you seen somebody with excess skin? I see pictures or videos of people and they have all that excess skin and now they're faced with surgery because it's like, you can tell some of it is infected. It's a lot going on. And I don't know if your hanging skin is to that degree, but sometimes I'm going to be honest, when I've seen that, I thought maybe I'll just stay chunky. because geez Louise, that's a whole another set of issues. So that's why I say anybody who's on this health journey, I give you a lot of credit for even starting, because it's like when you're overweight you got issues, then when you lose weight you got issues. So it's like you got to kind of take your take your what's bad or what's worse. You're either going to have, you're going to be chunky, you're going to be overweight and not healthy, or you're going to slim down and be healthier, but you might have flat boobs, you might have hanging skin, you might have a saggy booty. What are you going to do? I mean, we can't win, but if you're somebody that can afford to get all that fixed, I say do what makes you happy. Just consult with that doctor and do what makes you happy, because geez Louise, I went off on a tangent, CDXX, but so Delilah has tried the alcohol. It's a well-known trick when you draw blood and people get woozy. Oh, okay. See, I did not know that. I learned something new. Very well. I didn't learn that the nausea was new, but I didn't know that it was when you draw blood and people get woozy. I didn't know that part because I've never been there, done that, or been around that. Maybe my daughter needs that, Delilah. Reset with Anissa. Reset is in your name. How did I not figure that out till right now? I've just been calling you Anissa. GLP-1 Reset with Anissa. I love that. She says, just moved to 7.5 on Friday. Peppermint works well for mild nausea. Okay, so that peppermint is doing its thing. I love that. Felicia Davis, how are you? Look at that beautiful red hair. She says ginger chews work well for nausea. Okay, very good. I love that. All right, we might have to go to the game. I had like 10 questions. We've only been talking about one. And it's almost an hour in. You guys are awesome. All right, what is the queen saying? I just started 10 milligrams of mounjaro. You just started, and I'm almost tapped out. It's extremely strong. Okay, so carb queen, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Now, if you just started, maybe go into your second dose. So is this your first dose or second dose? I would just maybe try to wait it out. But if it's, that's what I would do. Now, I don't know your, a lot about your health history to even tell you, but I would talk to your doctor about it. If it's, making you so tired you can't function, if it is making you not eat, I would talk to your doctor, because you got to function in the world. You've just got to. Yeah, there has to be something you could do. You're tapped out. Geez Louise. Yeah, I don't like that feeling. 5 milligram was for me, says Mighty Mel. It really is an individual journey. Wink, wink. Oh, Eminem, we love that. Definitely thank you for the tips. Yes, yes, yes. Low carb queen, we've heard that story way too many times. Yes, yes, yes. All right, Bellflower says, I misspoke. When I told you my tracker gave me 1,200 calories, it actually gave me 1,693, and I've been getting 15 to 16 so far this week. Okay, all right, yeah, because you did tell me 1,200. Remember, and I was like, that is so low. Geez, Louise. Okay, that makes me feel better. Okay, thank you, thank you. Felicia, I live for a treat. I eat ginger. Do you? Okay. All right. Very good. The ginger chews, huh? All right. Davinia, she's talking to Eminem. Mighty Male. I take 2 to 3 days off from the gym, but I walk on the other days, usually 5 to 10 miles on non-lifting days. I love walking because it's so low impact. Okay. Very good. That's what I need to get more into, the walking of it all. Low carb queen, how long were you at 7.5? 10 is causing you fatigue. Yeah, she said she is tapped out. Mel, I had my weight and height wrong. My height and weight, it had me shorter than I really am, so I fixed it. Okay, very good. Okay, so this is what you used with the cucumbers. You use monk fruit, but any substitute sweetener. And you said, so you have cucumber with the sweetener, and it equals that watermelon. Geez, Louise, I'm gonna have to try that. And I do have some cucumbers downstairs. Okay, all right. Grace, guess what I'm gonna have to do? Write that down. I want to try that. I think that's interesting. Now, I don't think I want a sweetener um on my cucumbers, but I mean, geez, Louise, stranger things have been known to happen. I mean, what are you gonna do? All right, so Margie, Davinia, right, give us some of that energy. I love that. Mel says, Mighty Mel says, you are beautiful. Margie, I believe my energy is from my diet. Eat a lot of meat and fermented vegetables, 4 to 6 liters of water a day, and my sleep is on point. I could go for hours. Okay. All right. Very good. Love that. Mel, when I talked to Shay, she said she thought that was still pretty low. So I went back to look at the details and she was right. Yeah, she told me that. I'm like, oh no, I said 1200. I'm pretty sure that that's not a good calculator. Yeah. So I'm glad you went back though, seriously, because yeah, they consider a lot of doctors and stuff are considering 1200 to be kind of like in starvation mode. Did you guys realize that? That's not me saying that. That's like information that's been out, that's coming out. And most doctors, when they have you cut back, it should be, I would say if they go under 15, your metabolism, I think, is at risk of, but it depends on your size too. Now, if you're a size 2, this might not be the conversation for you with the, but it depends on your size. But yeah, even a small lady, I mean, remember, they base 2,000 calories off the average person's diet. So within that average, of course, you got your high highs and your low lows. All right, so I'm gonna take a few more comments in the chat, and then let's play our game, and then we'll talk stocks, and then we're out of here. And I got an early appointment. I also forgot I had a hair appointment. I don't remember scheduling this baby in the middle of the week like this, but I thought I'm gonna go get my hair washed. I'm gonna luxuriate in the self-care of it all, and I couldn't cancel if I wanted to because it was so close to like it's in the morning, and I gotta wake up and go. So I'm like, geez, Louise. If they had reminded me, I would have forgot that too. So I got to start writing these things down on my calendar. Let's see. Okay, so I got that. Make sure your doctor is documenting all the loose skin irritation issues. Could be beneficial for skin removal surgery covered by insurance, according to some representatives that was on. And one of my friends is a plastic surgeon. He came on here, so go back and check out that video. But he did talk about, he said a good plastic surgeon is going to also advocate and work with you to try to get that skin removed. But he said a lot of times they don't. They still deny. But documentation, I think, is the best thing you could have going up in there because you may tell the doctor, oh, this is happening, and he's writing it down and they're documenting it. But if you come in with your proof, which I don't know if it's considered proof, but you come in with your notes and an accurate depiction of what's going on, like some sort of journal, I think that's super helpful. I think that is only could add to your case. Take my deflated boobs over being obese any day. Sorry, not sorry. I love that. Right. And you got to decide. It's kind of like a give and take, I'm going to be 54. Gravity is pulling anyway. Excess skin is still healthier than excess weight. Yes, unless you're one of those people. Now, it still may be, though. But you're right. But some people have like that infection in between their skins, like their skin. I've seen people with like sores, like, almost like bed sores. Yes, now that is pretty intense, because they have so much skin. But yes, and I think so too. I think, and Brenda, it reminds me of people saying, "Why are you on this medication? You don't know what the long-term effects are going to be." And I always tell people, "Well, I know what the long-term effects of being obese and overweight is going to be. So I'm going to take my chances, just like Vegas. I'm rolling that dice." Right. So, you got to take what you can, take it, and, you got to weigh your options. And, I always tell people, pray about it, go with your instinct, whatever that, after you pray, you go with your instinct, you consult with some professionals, and then do what you need to do for yourself. Pa, how are you? He says, hey, fam. Delilah says, yeah, I learned. Delilah, I can't tell you enough how I love this profile pic. Yeah, I learned that when I became what is that? Phlebotomist, I just kept a few alcohol wipes in my pocket just in case. Delilah, you are a woman of many talents. I love that. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's a great tip. I might have to take that to my daughter. She acts like she's just gonna lose her mind when she has to get blood drawn, which hasn't been often, but geez Louise. Nicole, you're pretty much at goal. So that is not it. Glad you identified the issue. Yes, yes, yes. Perfectly, Pamela. How are you? She says, hey, everyone, late to the party, but I made it. Okay, very good. All right, let's get into this game. Okay, so CDXX says, I'm 5'10", 340. Whatever I tell people my weight, they get surprised and they say I don't look that heavy. I guess my body holds it well, but I just want it not to hold it so well. Once I start losing, well, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will start losing. And what have you lost so far? I don't know if you said, and I forgot, but keep it up. Like you've already made the best, most important, I shouldn't say the best, but the most important decision in this journey. And that's to start, right? You've already made that decision. And so I think it's only up from here, or down, should I say, from here. Jen says, my chest has also left the building. Should be an interesting mammogram this year. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. I had a mammogram and I asked her, I said, what do you do when the breasts are, because, mine are, they love that thing. Like they can fit on there. She smashes it down. I said, what do you do when you don't have anything to pull from it? She said, oh, it's a struggle, but we got to get it. So yeah, geez, Louise, I can't even imagine. Mail to the B, mighty mail. Yours said something definitely going over that 1200 anyway. So I was good. Yeah, you were good. You're good. I love that. Jen, because Jen said I wonder if they're gonna ding me for saying that. Geez Louise, YouTube. Okay, so low carb queen says she's giving it another try. Okay, you may have to move back down to 7.5. I think that's good. Some people had to go back down to 7.5 until it no longer works and then move up. Okay, all right, that's great, Felicia. That's a great tip. And that makes sense, right? That does make sense. Let's see. So low carb queen says, not fatigue, major stomach cramps though. I'm sorry about that. Yes, major stomach cramps. Yeah, now that's going to be hard to deal with. And I wonder, is it linked to what you're eating? I think you got to figure that out but maybe you're doing the same thing. And then, I don't know. She said, Mel, Didi's YouTube must be 18. It is not. It's regular. I don't know what's going on. Jeez, Louise, you guys just get a little kind of, they were talking about some of our topics. You got to start using those analogies like the phone. If you know about that Friday Night Live and you know about the phone, we got to go back to those days. One of your favorite snacks is cucumber with lemon or lime, salt, and Tabasco. Oh, I don't like anything spicy, hot, none of that. Jeez, Louise. Okay, all right. So the bee's knees, and I shouldn't say the, but I want to put that the in there. How are you? How are you? It's TBEES, right, Mel? Okay. All right. You haven't started yet. Okay. All right. So you got to get up in there and start. All right. Okay. So let's play this little game. This game is called, now there really is no wrong answer at all, I don't think. But I guess it could be how you're feeling about it. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to just do a few questions. We're going to get to the stocks of it all. And then we're going to get off of here because I got to go to bed. I got to be up super early. All right. So this game is called Reset or Regret. So in the chat, you can't just put an R, right? Because we got to know if you're resetting or if you have a regret with this, right? There really is no wrong answer, but I may ask you to explain it. Like, what do you mean by that? Okay, so, look, here's somebody's explaining something else. Mel is asking when you start CDXX. Pamela. That was so fun. That conversation had me in stitches. I mean, when I say I laughed so hard, geez, Louise. My first name starts with the T, so that's why the T before the bee's knees. Okay, so I'm just gonna call you. Can I just call you bee's knees? I love that. This is like you're the business. All right, Jen, I'm gonna check that. Let me, of course, Jen Graves. I gotta write this baby down. My number 4 is to check the age of your channel, but I don't think it's not for kids. I say it's not for kids. I don't know how much more I can say. But I will check it out because you never know up in these YouTube streets. They just got a little bit more stricter. So are you talking about boobs on other lives? And it's okay? I don't know. Are you? But I'm going to check. So CDXX. So you got to come back here in 2 to 3 weeks and let us know what happened with that. All right. So the game is called Regret. Let me put that up here. I'm going to put it up here so you can remember. So the game is called, I'm going to use all caps. I hope I don't misspell. Jeez Louise. Regret or reset. Let's go with reset first. Reset or regret. Okay. All right. Reset or regret. I love that. Reset or regret. And maybe I should add a question mark to that, huh? Okay, let me add a question mark. Reset or regret. That sounds like a relationship question. I'm regretting it. I'm out of there. Oh, that's so sweet and supportive, mighty male. Eminem, she says, congratulations in advance. You've got this. We're here to support you. Absolutely. I'm excited to see what happens. Yes, call me the bee's knees. It was just a cute name I came up with. I'm not really into myself. Oh, okay. That is so funny. I love it. I love it. Jen says, no, not, but I've seen worse in lives. Yeah, me too. That's why I was so surprised. Me too. Gee, maybe they know I'm a teacher. So they're like, let's do a PG-13 on this lady. Well, and that's the thing too, Jen. I was going to say, people have said worse in these lives other than that. So even in these lives. So I don't know. It might just be you, Jen. You got the YouTube cops on your you got the YouTube police on your back, Jen. Jeez Louise. Okay. All right. So here we go. A reset or regret. All right. So what are you gonna reset or regret if you skipped your injection this week? What do? Do you reset or do you regret? Now, when you regret, you kind of just wallow in it, right? You regret it, you wallow in it. You might go down a not so good path. Has anybody done that? Are you going to reset or is that a regret? And then you can't say both because I almost want to say both. All right, we'll see. What are people saying? Are you resetting or regretting? Oh, Darium said, I know I say a word. All right, Marjorie comes in. I love that. She comes in. Okay, I think so too, Jen. That's when some of my students tell me they have a YouTube page. I'm like, how are you having a YouTube page? You're 8. I know, I said worse. Okay, so we got Pamela with reset. We got a reset. Regret. Okay, we got a regret up in the house. Darium said a regret too. Okay, all right, we got a reset. WB, she came in with a reset. All right, Tanya, she comes in with a reset. Okay, reset. Hey there, Dee and the data-driven community. You are so funny. All right, Jen said, I move on. Okay. All right. So we got a lot of resets. Okay. No time for regret. You got to keep moving. Reset, definitely. Okay. Please like the live, everybody. And Margie is resetting. Anybody who said regret, want to explain why? I want to call you out. But if you want to explain why, let us know in the chat. All right, so while they're explaining or not, let's go to number 2. So if you're watching at home, dare I say how many are watching? If you're watching at home, what are you going to do? Reset or regret as well? So number 2, you ate fast food 3 days in a row. Are you going to reset at that 4th day, or are you going to you're going to regret it and then start again on Monday? Oh, what are you going to do? Okay. Oh, okay. So you missed it last week. So when I get my meds, I took my shot you took it at the drugstore. You're like, I'm not even waiting till I get home. Oh my goodness. All right. Low carb says, Queen says she's resetting, regret. It ain't happening. You got to either say reset or regret. Reset. I love that. Regret. Grace is another regret. All right, Grace. Oh my goodness. Reset. 3 days of fast food. I'm going to rejoice. Darium, all these regrets, reset, reset. You know what? I'm gonna have to be honest in here. Reject. I'm gonna have to be honest and say I think that's gonna be a regret for me. Even though after the regret, I'm gonna be resetting, but I think I'm gonna regret that because it's like, geez, oh man, and probably didn't make the best choices when I was eating out like that. But I think to have a reset is pretty the best thing we can do. So, Bee's Knees says regret, but I don't care for fast food. So I wonder what was going on in my head if I ate it that much. Okay, reset, but won't happen. 3 days in a row. You say it won't happen. Mel is laughing. Mighty Mel. That's pretty much been my last. Yes, right. I saw your last video too, where you were saying how you were eating out because you were moving. Okay, so but I love that. So are you regretting it, or have you just reset, Pamela, in your head? Hey Jamie, 3 days, might as well even it out to 4 days and then and then reset. Get that even number going on up in there. Reset, because sometimes it's out of our hands. Okay, very good. Yes, regret and then reset. Yeah, I think I'm a regret and then reset. A lot of folks will regret and then when they're bent over. What do you mean? Oh, like going to like having to throw up. She says reset because sometimes it's out of your hands. Yeah, like perfectly, Pamela. I mean, she's moving. All her things are, she probably doesn't have her kitchen stuff set up to be cooking. Moving is tiresome. So I can see why in some situations, you just got to do what you got to do. I know a lot of times people are visiting like loved ones or sick ones in the hospital. They're at the hospital, so that's kind of eating out because you're eating their food. You could make healthier choices, but we know that eating out has more sodium. We don't know what's in the food. The control over the food is a little bit less. But yeah, thank you. Wait a minute, Mel. Some people, never mind. Good point, Mel. Yes, yes, yes. Mel to the B. I don't regret it. I just learn from it and move forward. Very good. We love that. We love that. And like we say, give yourself some grace on that move because you deserve it. And so here's number 3. That was good. Number 3, you tracked your meals again after 2 weeks off of tracking. Do you have regret, or are you just going to reset? What is it? Regret or reset? You tracked your meals after, again after 2 weeks off. Is that going to be a reset or a regret? And Mighty Mel is saying you have a pass. Okay, we love that. Enjoy the live. Got to go make low carb donuts. Oh my goodness. That's why they call you the low carb queen. I love that. That is too funny. All right, so what are we doing? Are we resetting? A lot of resets. Okay, Cookie. We got Margie. We got Mel. We got Harjarine. We got Bee's Knees. We got MVP. Regret because I lost my streak. Yes, and I think a lot of people would probably feel that way. Like, dag, I was doing it for 2 weeks and I fell off, and they would be regretful. Very good. But that's the thing about the means, right? Do it again. You can always go back and reset. We love that. Can't promise how long my tracking will last. LOL. Very good. All right, very good. Good point, is Darium. Okay, all right. I would not like that either. Me either. I think that's a great point he made too. All right, but of course we got to do the reset, right? That's how, it works on this GLP-1 journey. We're not going to let it get us down. Oh no, we've got to keep on moving. Ain't nobody going to break my stride. Isn't that how the song goes? Ain't nobody going to hold me down. Oh no. All right, what about this one? Ooh, number 4. You went on vacation and gained 3 pounds. So how about mine? You went on vacation and gained 2 pounds. That's me. Are you going to reset and say, hey, the memories were worth it? Or are you going to regret and stress out about that weight? What are you doing? Are you going to regret or reset? What are we doing here? Anissa said, I do look back at reassess with frustration. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, on this, I don't care how many times we say it, give yourself grace and all that, but we all know when you're on a weight loss journey, Jen said, don't go on vacation. But when you're on a weight loss journey, it is very disappointing to see that scale go up. It just really is. Tanya, how are you? How are you? Did I see Tanya already? But I feel like it's new. Lovely L, how are you? Isn't she lovely? Carolyn, how are you? How are you? Carolyn, it's good to see you up in the chat. All right, here we go. Look at WB. All you guys are saying reset. And Jamie says, be glad you enjoyed yourself. Yeah, I think be grateful for the memories. It's like, I feel like I only gained 2. Like I could, previously I might have gained 5 if I, were eating, especially with all that big food in Texas. Reset. Pamela says she's going to reset. Okay, very good. What about this? You're drinking water and you're hitting your protein goals. What word would you describe yourself when you do that? And this is not a regret or a reset. This is kind of like an open mic, open verb or noun. I don't know what word you're gonna use, but how would you describe yourself if you're drinking water and you're hitting your protein goals? What word could be used to describe you? I'm gonna say yeah, I was gonna say hashtag. Oh gosh, geez, Louise. Hashtag winning. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. So, what word are you going to use to describe yourself? A lot of times people have a tough time giving themselves compliments, but not today. What are you going to say? Winning. Oh, Darium. He says bloated. No, yes, you're on target. Accomplished. I love that's one of my favorite words. Improved. Okay, very good. That's a good one. Miracle. See, this tells us how hard it is to get in that protein in that water, isn't it? Geez, Louise, this is like an eye opener for me. Winning, I say, low carb queen. I want to see those donuts. All right, Lovely says you would consider yourself on track. I love that. Of course, the bee's knees. Jen said, lucky. All right, very good. Amazing. Non-scale victories. Wait a minute. Hold up. Harper, me. Determined. Harper, how are you? You came in with that determined. That's also one of my favorite words. That spelling is horrible. That's okay. That's okay. I'm doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it and doing it and doing it well. Yes. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. That song is stuck in my head. It's been stuck in my head for some months now. Thank you for giving me a reason to sing it again. Successful. Yes, I love that word too. Unalive it? Don't want the YouTube to. Oh, okay. I know what you're trying to say. Yes. I was like, what is she? Clever, Pamela, clever. Okay, very good. I love that. You guys have some great words. Great words. Okay, so what about if you told yourself, I'll restart on Monday again? Is that going to be a reset for you or a regret? You told yourself, I'll start on Monday. How many people have said that since you started this GLP-1? I really want to know who has said they, hit a snafu, messed up eating some kind of way, and you said, I'm just going to start over. Maybe yours is not a Monday, maybe it's a Sunday, or but have you said, okay, I'm gonna wait till the next week and start? Has anybody done that? I haven't. I will have to say I haven't. Pusher. I'm your pusher. I love that. All right, so you guys are regret, reset. Okay, all right, we got a lot of regret. A lot of reset, a few regrets. Okay, very good. Felicity is also saying regret. Okay, all right. So has anybody done that? Has anybody said, I'm going to start on Monday? Okay, a lot of people are saying no. Nobody has. Now, this right here should tell us that medication is doing something, even though we know, right? But the other people that don't know so much. Always start today. Yes, I agree with that. Regret. I would rather start over the next meal. Yes, and I think that's what I always say. That's the best thing about the medication for me is that I can start the next meal. I don't have to wait till the next day or the next week, which is, I think, one of the best things. When I wasn't on this medication, when I wasn't on this medication, I was always starting on Monday or Sunday. Yes, I've gotten too busy to work out and would restart on Monday. I have to give myself a target day. Okay, that's a great way to look at that. That's a great way to look at that. I love that. Okay, so you do, but you say for the working out. Now I was thinking about food, so I'm glad you gave me a different perspective. Thank you. We love that. All right. Thank you, MVP. That's the way to look at that. Okay. What about this one? Oh, and she kind of said this. You haven't been to the gym in 3 weeks, but you did a 15-minute walk today. Is that going to be a regret or a reset? And we know that's not that could be you resetting, but are you regretting that you hadn't worked? Because I think that's a good point. Sometimes people, focus in on, like, let's say I gained 5 pounds when I went on vacation. Some people would let that 5 pounds beat them up and negate the 70 pounds that they lost up until this point. So I've lost my total loss had been a 75. So if I focused on the 5 I gained and not the 70 I lost, that can cause you to kind of spiral. So hopefully we're not doing that. Hopefully we're taking that loss and we are just, resetting, right? And doing it well for the next time. All right, I love that. You guys, okay, so we got some regret. Okay, we got a reset, regret, reset. Okay, all right. We got a reset. Okay, very good. So the reset is there with the resetting. And if you do have a regret, you got to move on from the regret. And I think that that's the important message here, right? You get a regret and then you take that in and you keep it moving. You do something different from there. All right. What about this one? So how do you feel if you're feeling discouraged and then you come to this live stream? What's a word that's going to describe how you feel or how you have felt when you've been feeling kind of discouraged and you've come to a live stream? How did it make you feel? What's your descriptive word in the chat? And I'm going to say, for me, motivated is my word. I'm going to go #motivated because it's a lot of times I've come to this chat feeling discouraged a little bit about one thing or another, not even necessarily YouTube. And this has just taken, and the weight loss, this has just taken my mind off of things. So I'm going to have to say motivated. Encouraged is another good word. So when I come to these lives, that's how I feel. It's a great feeling. All right, you guys are so smart. You got some good words up in here. Jeez Louise. Okay. I love this. You said, I'm going to keep resetting on all the things until I get it right. Yes. And the good news is there is no timetable, right? Nobody has told us that we know of, right? That I know of, like, you got to lose this weight by this date. If you give yourself goals, the great thing is you can readjust, refocus, reset. But nobody is saying, you got till this time to lose weight on these, injections. So I think that's great that we could, start again. All right, so I'm loving these words: uplifted, rejuvenated, encouraged. We got another: encouraged, rejuvenated, motivated, uplifted. There you go. Targeted. Informed and encouraged. Yes. Motivated and encouraged, energized, uplifted. Yes. I would agree. All right, Darian, what are you doing? It's Darian. Are you are you saying that because you're always on Mighty Mel's case and she gets right back at you? All right, so Darian says, please make sure you hit that like button. Let's push out the live to the newbies. You are so positive. How could we not feel positive doing your lives? Well, I'm glad, I hope so. Because, you got to have some positivity going on. I agree 100%. Okay, thank you for that, Jamie. We got 2 more. And then we're going to, if you have to leave, that's great. If you want to hear about what I'm doing with these stocks, that's what we're going to get into. All right, so here is the second to the last one. You started your journaling and then you stopped. You started journaling, but then you stopped. Are you going to reset or are you going to be regretting? Thank you, WV, for that. So you started journaling And it doesn't even have to be about weight loss. It could be about just your life, your feelings, whatever. You were doing great, and then you had you stopped. Is that a reset or is it a regret? I'm gonna say you know, of course, I'm going to regret that I stopped, but I'm going to reset because I think I could reset again and pick up, you know, kind of where I left off, maybe. So that's what I'm saying. I'm resetting. Are we resetting? We're resetting. All right. Very good. Are you guys resetting? Okay. All right. Regret, child. All right. Is anybody in here journaling? Does anybody do that? Does anybody keep a journal? Um, You know, I have at times, and I've tried to, like the Mighty Male says, Eminem, but it just has not worked for me. I think I get, you know, I get. That's why the tracking on the app is helpful because it's on your phone, in your hand. You can kind of maneuver it. But yeah, I haven't been able to do a lot of that tracking and journaling. Like I've the journaling, not the tracking, but the journaling. And then I had a calendar that I was tracking my weight. And I noticed that since I've been making videos and going live every week with my weight loss update, I haven't been writing on that calendar. And then when I went to go fill it in for the week, guess what? I ran out of pages. So I got to get me a new weight loss calendar, put my little weight on there just because I like to, that keeps me kind of focused, you know, with what I'm doing. So yeah, I got to get back to that. The good part is you can always come back where you left off. Paper and pencil don't judge you. Darium, you said a word. I love that. You're right. It doesn't say where have you been? Why haven't you been writing to me? What's going on? That's great. And also, you know, it can be as private as you want it to be, right? You know, within reason. Like if somebody stumbles across it, yeah, but so you said no journaling. Okay, yeah, it is a great way to kind of write your thoughts down. Yep, I write a page every night as a part of my pre-bed wind down. Okay, very good. I love that. I love that. No, I don't journal. I'm doing journaling for my current coaching with Nadia, though. Okay, very good. So she has you journaling. All right, very good. I love to read, but I hate writing since college. I was tortured with the papers. I know. Yes, look at King Durham. You know, that's the thing too. I think people, you know, I try to remember this in school, you know, because I'm teach third grade though, so I know it's a different level. But I do think I see my daughter's development. She's gonna be in third grade. This is my grade I teach. I can't believe it. I'm so excited about that. Not at my school. I'm not gonna be her teacher, even though she wants me to be. But you know, I feel like school kind of squashes the not all school, but just the idea of like the structure of it all, you know, that creativity, that imagination, like sometimes kids can get lost in that. And so, you know, that's why as a teacher, you got to try to make things as exciting or fun, but you got parameters, so you can't do everything you want to do. You can't have everything you want. Too bad, too bad. That's a song I sing with my class. Let's see. Okay, what are you guys saying? People say I don't journal. Mel is doing that. Mighty Mel is doing the journaling. Yeah, that college kind of threw you off. Yeah, look at King Darian being all introspective. I love that. Let's see. I have and do when I need to refocus or if I'm dealing with something. Yeah, I think that's great because it's times when I've gone back to look at something I've written previously, and I was like, glad I had written that down, right? So it really is a good thing if you could get into it. Um, I journal differently for work or for home business stuff, but not your personal feelings. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's okay. I love that you're connecting yourself with the journals. Yes. Does you don't journal, but you record your progress. Very good. I like that. Darren, the paper pencil won't judge you, but whoever finds the journal might. But that's what I was saying. Like, you just got to make sure nobody's reading your private thoughts. You know, I'll never forget, you know, my brother seeing my journal when I was little, and I learned then, you know, and he broke through the lock. Remember, they had those little, they still got those little rinky dink locks because my daughter has a journal. She says, let them cookie, them scoundrels need something to liven up their lives. Yes, do not go in someone's journal. Jeez, Louise. Okay, okay, okay. All right, all right, all right. So Any wins, and then we'll go to our little stock talk. Anybody have some wins that we can celebrate? I'm celebrating my non-skill victory from that plane. Like, not having the anxiety. You guys, you probably understand. I was gonna say, you guys don't understand. You probably do understand. Like, not having the anxiety of, is that airplane seat gonna be hard for me? Because I never could not ever buckle it up, but it was a struggle. And so, yeah, so just not having that, just going in, sitting. I could even cross my legs on the plane. That's what I should have taken a picture of in that little plane. And I could cross my legs. I felt comfortable. I didn't feel like my daughter was smushed. Like, that was a non-skill victory for me. Like, I enjoyed that. It just made me feel like, I was walking up in there like I was the bee's knees. So what are you guys celebrating? Anything you're celebrating? We want to give you your flowers. Anybody, somebody? All right, I'm going to start getting my screen ready. I'm going to talk about this whole stock situation. Oh gosh, lovely. Elle, do you know what? That's a huge, huge, huge non-skill victory. The rolls on your back are going away. I love that. I love that. Let's give you some confetti. That's a huge one because I still have some on mine and I want those babies gone. Goodbye. See you later. I love that. All right. Brenda says, I mark little weight loss goals that I reach and milestones on my phone calendar, but I don't journal because I never stay with it. Yeah, it's kind of hard because we're busy people, Brenda. I think that's what it is. But I think the fact that you're even trying to do it on your phone with those milestones is everything. We're going to give you some confetti for that. I love that because you know what? You're going to have that to go back and look at and say, hey, look, this is where I was at on whatever day. And I do that too in my little calendar. I do that as well. I love that. All right, very good. It's tough. It is tough. I'm you. That's a toughie. Trying to think. You got to think you're writing probably if you're working, you have stuff to write for that. You're keeping track of your weight loss goals. It's just a lot for us as adults to keep track of. So thank you for sharing that, Brenda. What mother here wouldn't go into their daughter's journal? I know, but I can't say it loud because she'll hear me. But yeah, she has a lock on hers. I don't think she's right. She's drawing pictures of me and her and holding hands, like, we're in La La Land. So, but are you listening? Oh, okay. She went down. But you're right. That's so funny. I finished my summer class with an A. Yes, yes, yes. And I am not surprised. Good for you, Harjarine. Go, Harjarine, with the A. The A all day. She got an A, she got an A, she got an A. She got an A all day. I love that. Very good. So you was working hard up in there. I love that. All right. Celebrating reaching 187. I love that you're in Wonderland. Jeez Louise. And is able to do planks longer. And the captain chair, are you trying to say, then the captain chair at the gym for a longer period of time? Jeez Louise. What a great non-skill victory. Very good. I love that. That's just a victory, non-scale, scale. I don't care what you call it. It's a victory. Thank you for sharing that. MVP. She says, I'm at 26.7 body fat this week. When I started, I was at 43%. My goal is 25%. You are so close to that goal. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. You're going to be there. Oh, geez, Louise. I love that. That body fat is going down. That's what you want to see, going down. Love it. Going from a size 30 to a 14. Jeez Louise. Go, Jamie. Go, Jamie. Go, 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 Jamie. I love that for you. Jeez Louise, look at all those sizes down. You probably look like a different person too. You know what I'm saying? Like, geez Louise. I love that. That is amazing. And people are saying phenomenal, amazing. We love that for all of you. Jeez Louise. Excellent. Yes, yes, yes. Jeez Louise. Brenda saying thank you. Harjarine, Shay, all of you, just congratulations. WV, I wanted to share a win. I have lost 33 pounds in 2.5 months. Jeez Louise. You guys are, wait for my saw, doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it and doing it and doing it well. 33 pounds in 2.5 months. Jeez Louise, I love that. Oh my goodness, you guys are doing it. Yes, awesome job, everybody. Just you guys are doing it. Getting on that scale, and it's at 194. Harper, what a good feeling. Jeez Louise. I can't wait to be in the one something. Those what do you call it? Wonderland. So I know you must feel so good about yourself. Jeez Louise. Tanya says, I'm accepting my body size now. I went down from a 26 to a 22. I finally cleaned out my closet. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my goodness. Guess what? I gotta sing that song because she is doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it and doing it and doing it well. So I love that how you're accepting your body size. Like it's a hard mind shift, but you are doing it. I love that. Very good. People are saying thank you. We love the celebrations. Oh my goodness. Cleaning out your closet is a great feeling. Yes, that's a non-skill victory within itself, isn't it? All right, very good. Shay, wow, at 33 pounds in 2.5 months. Isn't that cool? That is so awesome. She is doing it. Thank you and congrats to everyone. Congrats on your wins. Everybody's crushing it. Yes, yes, yes. All right, all right, all right. Okay, all right. So we're going to be talking about the stocks of it all. So if you guys are interested, you could stick around if you just want to hear me chat about it. I kind of can get off on the tangent about this. So if I don't know, if just for the background for people who are wondering. So a while ago, I think I was on one of my lives and I was talking about my dream is to be a day trader, right? And so, first of all, I don't have day trade money to be a day trader. And second of all, I don't have the time because in order to trade, because I've done some dabbled in it, you just have to have time dedicated the first good hour of the stock market. And that's when I'm right in the mix of my job. So I can't do it and do it well, right? Because I'm working. So I was talking about it on one of these lives and people were, seeming interested. I was telling people how I was retiring and, my goal was to really, when I started teaching, to be retired at 30 years. And here I live in Ohio, they kind of changed the retirement requirements. And I'm trying to find Jamie's comment to remove it, but I don't see it. I'm sorry. Let me see, Jamie. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So I was like, okay, my retirement plan. So that would have put me retired at 50, actually 50. I would have been retired at 50 because I got hired when I was 20. And I've been at my job. This is going into my 32nd year. And so, but they changed the retirement. They cut back, on how much you could get, and so, what percentage you get. So obviously I'm a teacher. I have a pension, which is great. But with the pension, I pay into my pension and that's how that goes. So in addition to that, one of the things I did early on was I started to retirement requirements in Ohio. So one of the things that I did early on was I had like one of the custodians I worked with. I was supposed to see him today, but I missed the get together, so I'm gonna have to call him up. So one of the things that I did was he gave me a tip. He said, you need to start investing in your money. He said, get you a Vanguard. At this time, I wasn't making a lot of money. I was paying for my master's degree. I wasn't making a lot of money at all. Being a teacher, the longer you stay, you do pretty well. But based on what I make and my education, because I have enough degrees, if I could have a doctorate as many hours as I have a master's plus 48. And so compared to some of my friends I went to college with, but a lot of my college friends are lawyers, doctors, business people, entrepreneurs. So they make tons more money than me. But one of the things I did do is I took his advice and I opened an IRA Roth. And I always say that is what started me to, have the money to purchase my first home. I was just putting $100 in there a month. And the next thing I knew, I had enough for a down payment on my first house. And if you know anything about the IRA Roth, when you take the money out, you're not penalized if you before you're 59 and a half, I believe, you're not penalized if you're taking the money out to buy your first home. So that helped because I didn't get a big ding on that. So I still have a Roth IRA. I kind of put a little bit into there. But what I it just encouraged me to learn more about stocks and the stock market. So, I don't have a 401k. My pension is kind of like what a 401k would be. So I have that. So then I thought, okay, I have this Vanguard. So I also, wanted to get a 403b. So I don't know if you guys know what that is, but I have a 403b. So I have a financial advisor that manages that. And actually it's time for me to meet with him because I'm, planning on retiring. One of the reasons why, because, I'm going to have a cut in my salary. One of the reasons why I feel comfortable with retiring is because of my knowledge of the stock market. So in addition to that 403b, my pension, and what's in my 403b, I'm telling you, they're investing that well because it has really grown. I said, okay, I just want to trade some stocks on my own and learn about some things. So I started studying like Warren Buffett, and I started studying, different people who talked about stocks. And one of the things that I learned was you just got to put the money in there and let your money grow. So I went and I opened all these brokerage accounts, right? So I started off with Robinhood because Robinhood was easy breezy, lemon squeezy, right? It's very easy to trade and all of that. And one of the downsides of Robinhood is that they say it kind of looks like a game. So people take it as a game. And I don't know if you remember the whole thing that went on with GameStop, but I had my little hand in the pot in that too. But when the things went on with GameStop, Robinhood took a big hit because they weren't allowing people to trade. So Robinhood is a thing. But I like Robinhood for a new beginner because I feel like it's easy breezy. You can buy partial shares. It's a lot you could do with Robinhood. And they've grown since that whole GameStop controversy, I will say. But if you hear the gurus out here, they'll say, don't use Robinhood. A lot of people use use Charles Schwab, which used to be TD. It merged with TD Ameritrade. I love TD Ameritrade. When they switched over to Charles Schwab, I did not have the best experience with them, but I also love Fidelity. So I'm going to show you guys, how I, invested my money, just putting a little bit in over time, just like I built up the money to buy my first house. I have like a little side investment. So in this Fidelity is where I just put money and buy stocks and just watch it grow. I don't touch it. I don't sell it. I don't do anything with it. And in 5 years, it has grown like 700% over time with just me putting a little bit in, and you'll see. And that's one of the things I was going to share. So that just brings me, so that's like my little knowledge of stocks. And so, over the summer, not this last summer, this is the last summer, I haven't been very active with my stocks in over a year because I've been on YouTube. And so really, people think you make money on YouTube. It's not good money. And you will see why if you come along with me on this program. You will see it's nothing like you would make if you were into the stock. So really, I was thinking about this last night, and I was thinking I lost money being here on YouTube because I haven't been doing anything with the stock market. I've just been kind of all into, YouTube and growing this channel and being invested in, what I'm doing here and what you guys are doing. And yeah, I'm invested in you guys. Like, I just love this group. And so, and I will say I love most people. Like, it's really not anybody I just don't like. Now, do I gel with everybody? I don't know. Maybe I don't. But I just love people. I love people. I can find the good in people, and that's what I tend to do. And so, so 700. I'm going to show you 700%. I'm going to show you how I did that. So when we are on YouTube and I'm talking about this, people were saying, no, they want to know. I've had people who emailed me asking me about it. And so I put out 3 videos. I'm going to say it might have been March or February. It was lives where we talked about how to get out of debt. And I'm going to probably be talking more about that. How to get out of debt, how to invest your money, but getting out of debt, how to find money, because we were thinking people need money to pay for these medications, right? And this is when the whole idea of compound, was going away, and people were wondering, like, what am I going to do? That I can't afford Eli Lilly. And so my thing to people is, people say, like, for instance, Eli Lilly stock is $700 and something dollars. Now, when I bought a little chunk of it, it was $900. This was a year and a half ago or so. And that's not in my main account. That's not my side account. I'm going to show you. That's kind of like what I have on Robinhood. Like, if we talked about maybe having a stock club or this or that. It's off YouTube. It's not going to be on YouTube, obviously. But I'll show you, exactly what's in that Robinhood account. That's like money I play around with. I could trade it. I could buy options. My Eli Lilly stock is in there. And the little piece I have a partial share of that. That's in there. And so, honey, I don't need help. So anyway, so we talked about that. YouTube did not push those videos out because this is weight loss. This is weight loss. This is injections. This has nothing to do with, what I'm doing here with that. So YouTube is not going to push that out. This is GLP-1 weight loss. So I had to think of how I could still do. Going to start a new channel, and I'm just kind of giving a history for the people that don't. You got to leave out now. And then I was going to start a new channel and talk about retirement and stocks and all of that. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Let me make sure my daughter is. So I was going to start a new channel, and then I did not start a new channel because I just didn't have time, right? I'm live 3 times a week on YouTube. I am, I produce a video a week. In addition to that, I try to, or put up some shorts, or, I'm on my community posts. So I'm just busy. Then that's just YouTube. That's not even everything else I have going on. So I thought, well, how could people do this? One thing I will want to say is, if you decide you want to participate, I know somebody made a comment and said, they're a financial advisor. One of the things I had was a group of my friends, all college friends except for one, and I had a book club. I would be reading these books, and one of the girls was like, "What are you reading?" And I would say, "I'm reading The Intelligent Investor," and they would be like, "Oh my gosh, I want to learn about stocks and da 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 da." So I had this book club, and we still are, we don't meet and talk about stocks now, but one of the things, it would start off as a book club, and then people wanted to kind of pool their money together. But the book club was great, which is also another thing I was going to bring to YouTube. I just haven't had time, but we can incorporate it with the stocks. People just weren't reading. So one of the things I have learned is over time is like, if you give something free, people aren't going to do it because, right, they have no interest. They have no vested interest in it. And if you, have something where you're expecting somebody to, do something, like if I say, oh, okay, next week, I remember doing this with that on YouTube. I said, bring, your finances, and I wouldn't see it, but like, list, where your money is going, where you have money. Most people didn't do that. Why? Because, that's just something I told you to do. They didn't buy into it. And I get it. Being a teacher, I get it. You could come with a great lesson plan. People know they have to be there. You're going to do it whether they do it or not. So it's just like, it's not going to matter. So on here, I came up with a way that I could kind of incorporate it. So I'm going to take you to where if you're interested in seeing, learning some things about stocks, seeing my portfolio, I'm going to take you to a place where you can get it. If you're not interested, it won't hurt my feelings at all. This is just for people that are interested. If you have been around, I'm so passionate about this. I absolutely love it. So it's not going to hurt my feelings at all. And this has encouraged me to become more involved in what I'm doing. So I'm going to take you through, and we're going to go on a different site. I'm going to take you through what I'm, if you want to join. And then I also have a class that I'm going to be offering, like a live class. If you want to ask me some questions, some follow-up questions, or, you want to, and then we'll talk about it at that time. The class is going to be September 13th. It's going to be, off YouTube. It's not going to be through YouTube. And if you want to come and ask questions and talk about, stocks, have some stock chat, we can do that. But I really want people that are serious about building a separate portfolio different from your 401k, and people who want to, and maybe you say, well, I'm interested but I'm not ready. I do understand. I think it was Margie that was saying with her job she couldn't do it. Like we had a book club of like 6 people, and once we started talking about actually like pulling our money together and investing, 2 people had to drop out. One was high up in the IRS and she couldn't do it. It was a conflict. And then the other friend of mine, she works for Fidelity. She might even be listening right now. Hello. But she had to drop out of it because, her investing, she advises people. And she had to drop out of the book club once we started saying, she was going to do it. So anyway, so this is just something extra. If you are interested, great. If not, so I'm going to take you to what we're going to do. I'm going to share my screen. And I'm hoping this works. Like right before we started, I was telling Mel, I went on there and it was not working. The link was not linked the way I thought it was. I didn't tell her the details, but it wasn't linked quite like I thought it was linked. So I went on there and purchased something myself just because I wanted to make sure it worked. So I'm glad I did that, because had I not done that, like, what is going on? So let me share my screen. And then we're going to go to where you can go, and I'm going to put this up in the chat. So I was trying to figure out how can I get, what can I do? So what I ended up doing was I started a stand store. So if you go to, this is how it would look on your phone. So if you would go to stand store / Downsizing Diva 8, you can see my little stand store. So I have put together a guide that teaches you everything you should want to know about stocks. And I also have my portfolio on there as well. So if you click on this first one, it's not going to let me click on it because I'm actually it's like it's in like a creator mode. But this is where you click to get the guide, and then my portfolio is also on there. My portfolio is in there, and then when you check before, and it's $37, so I try to make it like a price people could afford, I was hoping. And then if you click on add the live class, when you check out, it's going to give you the option to add the class. The class is September 13th. So as like a follow-up to ask questions, if you bought a stock, you have questions about the stock, you could come to that class. If you say, I don't want to see your guide, I don't want to, see your portfolio, I just want to come to the class, here is the class that you could come on. And this is the class. I only have 100 people because that's all I can fit on Zoom in one class. So, maybe we'll have 100, maybe we'll have 2, maybe we'll have 10. I don't know. But if you're interested in just coming to the class, it's on Saturday at 2. I think it's September 13th. You could click there and join the class. So I went on there myself just to make sure everything was easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then I have some GLP-1 stuff if you're interested in any of this stuff. And then, of course, it has my little apps and my Element link on there. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with a stand store, but that's what I set up. I did put my stand store information in the description. So that's in the description. So if you are interested in trading, doing some stock trading with us, that's what we're doing. And so again, I want to make this, let me see, let me get this off. So I want to be clear. So with that first one where it says get the guide is like a step-by-step how to buy a stock. It tells you what stock brokers you could use. It tells you pretty much anything you want to know about a stock. And then the portfolio is in the PDF. So it's a PDF, but it has hyperlinks. So in that hyperlink, if you go down to the last page, it'll say click for the video. It's me on there showing you my portfolio, telling you about the stocks I bought. I will love to say I am not a financial advisor. I'm not trying to give anybody financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy what I bought. But I was talking to somebody today and I was saying, should I just have an option where you could just look at the portfolio and that's it? And somebody was saying, well, people might not want to see your portfolio. And I was thinking, for me, when I see people who say, oh, I've done such a good job with stocks, I want to see what they bought. So I might add that in there because I was, going on there as a shopper myself and going on there as somebody purchasing it. I wanted to just see what your experience would be. And it worked out fine once I got the glitch taken care of. Once I did that, I was able to see the experience somebody would have. And I thought it was great. So it's some things I want to tweak, but for right now, it is what it is. And when I say that, like add more options for pay or this or that. So that's what we're going to do. So if you're interested, you want to learn about stocks, I don't know if you're a beginner, if you've ever bought an individual stocks. Again, this is not like if you bought individual stocks. Again, this is not like a 401k. This is you building your own 401k. And so, this is the reason why I feel comfortable retiring, because I have multiple sources of income coming in, not just from my pension. I also have another side, 403b. I have a Vanguard account. I have a, when you see what's in my Robinhood, I couldn't use that. And that's just kind of, money if I want to buy a quick trade and flip it. But that other portfolio, I'm just going to really hold on to that. So in 5 years, over 700%. So I just wanted to show you guys that because I was telling somebody, that's why I made the video. I was going to talk about this on Sunday, but I wanted to add that video. I made the video in 2004, and then I kind of added to it and updated it. And the reason why, I stopped in 2004, because remember, I told you I have not added to that in a year. So just if you see like how that money has grown, that's what I'm trying to get people to do here. And, I will say people are educated about a lot of things, but not their finances. And I don't know why people don't want to be educated about their finances, but I want to try to change that and you don't need a lot of money to invest. You really don't. So, you take that, if you buy that for $37, if you buy a stock and put, just $50, and even let's take Eli Lilly, I would take $50 and put it in Eli Lilly and watch that grow over time. So you don't need, I guess that's the big thing. People think I need a lot of money to invest in a stock. No. And I was saying to, Mel, maybe I have $100 to invest. Maybe Mel has $500 to invest. We're still going to see our money grow. She just has more of it to grow than me. Now, when that portfolio, everything is not all gravy. Like you will see, I have a couple stocks, and I'll talk about this on September 13th at that Zoom class I'm going to do. Sometimes you see these gurus on YouTube and they don't always show you when they're taking a hit. And I don't know if you guys ever seen, like when the stock market crashes, they'll say Warren Buffett lost, $13 billion today. Like he lost 13 billion. So if he takes a hit, we're all going to take a hit. Eventually we all take a hit. But when you leave your money in there over time, it compounds and it grows. And so that's the message. You got to get started. Just like these GLP-1s, you got to get started. It's slow and steady. And the number one thing you can do to start growing your wealth today is to start somewhere, right? And the number two thing you could do is take a chance on buying something and be patient. You have to be patient. People that do well in the stock market are doing well because they're patient, not panicking. And you'll see me talk about this in the portfolio. So again, if you are interested, I'm going to copy my link. I'm going to put it in there. I don't think it's going to hyperlink in this chat, but it is in the description of my video. I'm going to put it up on my post. You can email me. Like if you have questions and you want to email me and you just didn't want to say anything in this, in this chat, that's fine. You can email me at Downsizing Diva. What is my email? Downsizing Diva 8@gmail.com. That's also in the description. Anytime I have something going on, it's always put it in the description of the video so you can kind of see that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I had talked to a couple of people about starting like kind of like a stock club, like a stocks with Shay. And it's not going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on this stand store. It's going to be separate from that if we do it. And, I don't have to have a lot of people in there, but, we want people in there that's committed. And I tell you, you want people on there that's committed because you're talking about your finances and your money. And that's like just like your weight loss here. It's a sacred thing, right? And I think even so with money, I don't know how many of your parents talk to you about money. I think that's why people don't talk about money. When I was growing up, I didn't even know how much my parents made. I don't even know how much they made. I didn't know what their salary was. I just thought we did pretty well. But I didn't know how much they made. And I was so shocked when it got to the point where I was going to college. When I turned 16, I was like, why didn't I get a car? I'm thinking we had all kind of money. I wasn't thinking that my parents had to eventually pay for college. And I told you, my boyfriend is the first one who bought me a car. He bought me a car and I went on to college from there. It wasn't my parents. But I knew my parents did well, but I just didn't know how much they made because they never talked about money. In schools, we don't talk about money. That's one of the things that I might do when I retire is try to set up a program where I'm teaching kids about stocks and investing. And, I don't know, I'm gonna have to put something together and maybe one of these schools will let me come in there and talk about it. So I'm already, trying to talk to my daughter about that. And I have a little, that's another thing, a savings set up for her. So, when she, when people want to give me money and when they get to a certain point when I could buy Apple stock, I put it in there and, I'm saving it up to buy the Apple stock for her. So, yeah. So, and I want her to be excited. Like I got an Apple stock, you know what I'm saying? And so, but you got to teach them young. So we're having, health is wealth. So, I say that, when I thought about that earlier and thought, geez, oh man, if I wasn't on YouTube, I could have been making a lot more money. But not really, because who knows if I would have been around or had the energy to do it, because health is wealth. So getting that health together first. Now that we're on the right track today, you kind of got to get your finances together. So again, if you're interested, go ahead and do that, and give me some feedback too when you get the PDF and you learn about the stocks. And if you have questions, what I want you to remember is, if you go on there, let me share my screen again, because if you go on there, I think I'm still sharing my screen. I don't know if you could, if I flip over here. When you go on here, don't click get my guide and portfolio and then also join the class here. No, no, no. If you get the guide, it's going to be cheaper to get the class before you check out within the same transaction. Don't do a separate one. Don't say, oh, I'm going to get this portfolio and then I'm also going to join the class. Don't do it that way. Get the guide first. I should have went on like how you could see it as an actual buyer. Maybe I'll do that. So you got to get the guide first, and then you're going to go. I'm going to go. I don't know if anybody has went on there. I'm going to go on there. Let me see. Let's stop sharing. I'm going to go on there as a person who's just like looking on there, and so I could take you through so you can see how it's going to look, because I'm worried that people are going to spend too much when you don't need to. How about that? I'm worried you're going to spend too much. But yeah, I just want to make sure you can actually see that. Let me go. I'm going to go in another. I'm going to go through another thing. I'm going to show you how it looks. Okay. So I'm going to try to go in. Is it letting me go in there as I'll try to go in as Downsizing Diva as a, okay. All right, can you guys see my screen? Grace, Bev, Mel, can you guys see my screen, or did I take it off? I think I took share my screen off. Can somebody tell me in the chat, can you see my screen? Okay, yes, okay. All right, so I'm gonna go to share screen again. Okay, so this is how it's gonna look as if you purchase something, you go on there. So when you click get my guide, here it is. You're gonna go there. It's telling you it's $37, and then you scroll down. If you want to go to the class, click the class there, and you'll have an opportunity to buy the class there for $27. So if you add 37 plus 27, that's a little bit cheaper than it is if you just bought the class. And one of the reasons why I did that is because I wanted people to not just say, oh, I'm going to go to the class and ask a million questions. I kind of want you to come with knowledge of what's in that PDF and what it's teaching you about stocks. And I realize everybody's not going to do that. It could be somebody could come around and see this that doesn't even know anything about us and sign up to go to that class because it's out there. But I want people to really be informed when they come to the class so they can ask some great questions. And so that was my intention. So that's my way of getting you to get the portfolio and the guide and come to the class. And it's like I said, if you buy all that bundled, it's less than just coming to the class. But I realize some people are like, I don't got time to read that PDF. I don't care what's in your portfolio. I'm just going to come to the class and hear what you're going to say. So either way, it's fine with me, but I just, wanted to put that out there. So if you're interested, great. Let me know. If you have questions, you can email me off this platform. Off the, YouTube. You can email me through YouTube at downsizingdiva@gmail.com. So, and then when we have that class, that's what we're going to talk about when we're going to start this little stock club and, but it's not going to be on YouTube because I'm not a finance person. So this is going to be a little separate time commitment for me away from, YouTube, which is, it's all good. It's all good. So, and that's how I'm able to retire earlier, because people were like, are you going to work? Are you going to work? I'm going to volunteer my daughter's school. I'm just thanking God that I'll be able to pick my daughter up. Right now, she's in before care and after care. I pay about $5,000 a year for that. That'll be a less expense I had. I could take her myself, pick her up. And then I've been working since I'm 14. So I just think since I was 14. So I think once I retire, I'm just going to chill for like 6 months. And then I'll probably get a part-time job. That's my plan. Now we shall see. I don't know. But if I do really well with these stocks in the next couple of years, but we have an administration that's hot and cold. So I don't know. Today the stocks are up, tomorrow they're not. But we want to learn about stocks. So that's one of the things that I want to talk about more in the class. Like, how do you research a stock? How do you pick a stock? What information are you looking for? The news, keeping up with the news. Since I've told this, I'm just going to use Mel as an example. She has been on it. She went and bought that Eli Lilly stock. She was motivated. And we've been talking about it. It's good to have her to talk to. So that's, what the stocks will do. It will keep you in that finance state of mind. I think Jamie said on here, she just sold, I just sold Apple and made $500 today. Excellent. Let's give her some confetti. I love that. I love that. And, people might say, how did you do that? It's not that hard. You just gotta buy, you gotta get in the market. That's the best thing I can say. Get in that market, and that's how you do it. So I love that. And you don't need a lot of money to make money. When you see that portfolio, if you don't do anything else, just get the PDF so you can see that portfolio and see how I made money over time. It's not financial advice. You don't have to copy it, but you can see how I made money over time, just adding $100 every paycheck. It was consistent. Just like I'm consistent on Downsizing Diva channel, I'm consistent with adding that $100. It's automatically taken out. I don't even have to think about it. And people think you have to do that with like something fancy. You could do that with the stock market too. It's a way to automate all of that stuff. So you go in and you could, sell it to buy when you want. You could sell it to sell when you want. So it's just a lot you could do. And I'm also still learning too. I'm also learning. I don't claim to know everything, but I know some things to get you going. So that is what it is. Thank you guys for joining me. If you have any questions, if you have a hard time in that stand store, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. And that stand store, it has other things on there too. It has GLP-1 things you could use. If you're a slow responder, I got something in that stand store for you. I have that PEP app that I talked about that is a GLP-1 tracker. I put that in there. I also had this company reach out to me, and I'm trying to make it work that I use their Mago 7. They want me to be an affiliate person with them. So I'm trying to figure that out. My goal was to put that in there. And I'm trying to figure out, it's not really working for me yet. So I'm going to get that in there when I'm in there, because that's a product I use. I don't, I could talk about that all day long. I also had an exercise company reach out to me, and you know what? It's something that I'm interested in getting. So, and it kind of reminds me of Pilates. So I'm going to reach back out to them and talk to them. I've been so busy, my email is popping and I haven't had a chance to really dig into it and explore stuff. But, out of all the stuff I just told you about, the stocks and learning about my finances is the most important thing that, tickles my fancy and makes me interested. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. So if you're serious about stocks, we just want serious people that really want to learn and grow their money, right? You learn and grow your money. You start small, you take small steps, and you grow big. So that is what we want to do. That's our goal. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming to the live. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about these stocks. I really want this to kind of be it. I want to push that on to somewhere else, another platform, and we're just going to stick to the weight loss here. So that's the goal. But of course, I had to start somewhere. So thank you guys. I will talk to you soon. I will see you on Friday night, part 2 of our live. We got to continue from Friday. Have a good night. Thank you.